guys, today we are at Ray Harp Jewelry in Atlanta, Texas, and I want to thank our sponsors today, which is Fire and Knives in Linden, Texas, CMB Bank in Queen City, Domino Federal Credit Union, and Texarkana Contractors. But today we are talking about Ray Harp Jewelry, and this is Tammy. Tammy, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Tamy Head. I'm married to John Head, who is the grandson of Ray Harp, who started the business in 1953. John grew up in the store, and he's the jeweler. He's the one that repairs all your jewelry, custom makes all your jewelry, pretty much is our technical guy whenever we're purchasing jewelry of what we should buy and what we shouldn't buy. And we've been married 31 years, and I've been in the store with him for 10.
Wow, 10 years. That's a long time. But we want to talk about an even longer time, and that's the family history, right?
Yes.
So this started a long time ago. The store's been in the family for quite some time. How did you all begin the whole process of the store, and what does it mean to you to carry on that legacy?
Papa, which was Ray Harp, started the business in 1953 after he came out of the military. He knew he needed to learn a trade, so he learned how to be a watchmaker. And so he started with watches, and then he progressed into jewelry, started his first store in Hugh Springs in 1953. And as the economy of Hugh Springs started to decline because of Long Star Steel, he decided to move it to Atlanta, Texas. He moved in 1965. He moved a block over. There was a fire October of 65, and he lost the building but didn't lose the jewelry. So in December of 65, he moved in this exact location.
Wow, so you've been here since 1960.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, so what do you love most about being locally owned and family runs the business? How do you feel about that?
Well, I've worked for corporate businesses before, and they dictate how you can treat customers, what you can say, what you can do. And when you're family owned, you can treat people the way you want to treat them, which is like family for us. Our customers are our family. Our name means something. And we don't want to do anything that would take away from the legacy that Papa built.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's grown. And I know, I mean, this is the name. When you mentioned Ray Harp Jewelry in Atlanta,
Mhm.
Texas, everybody knows about it. So that's really cool how that works. I know you guys see lots of trends that are going on from the internet to different jewelry stores. What's the biggest trend right now that's going on that you know about?
The trends we're seeing right now is like with anything, stuff in the past comes back. So bezel set. It's big in the 90s, and now it's making another way up the chart, which is where the diamonds aren't set with prongs, they're set with metal around them. One of my favorite rings is bezel set that we'll show in a little bit. And then we're seeing yellow gold. For years, it's been white gold. Everybody wanted white gold. But now the younger girls, and even myself, I have on yellow today. So yellow gold is making a comeback, and the lab diamonds.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second. I can remember when I was back in school, it was the yellow gold. Everything was yellow gold, and white gold was kind of looked upon like, that's not gold.
Well, still to this day, people call it silver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
come in. I like silver, and we have to say, do you like silver or do you like white gold? Because
Right.
they're two different types of metal.
Okay.
Silver is softer. A lot of your fashion rings are made in silvers to keep the cost down.
Right.
White gold is just as hardy as yellow gold. Actually, it's even hardier because what it is it's yellow gold with a little bit of nickel. And
Okay.
so that's what makes it white. Gold comes out of the ground yellow.
Okay.
And then if you want rose gold, then you add a little copper to it to make it rose.
Okay.
And then rose gold actually softens the gold, so it's not as strong as the other two colors.
Well, that's good to know. I had no idea. So we're getting the education here, folks. Okay, so there are lots of timeless pieces out there. What do you believe is a timeless piece that'll never go away?
I think the round diamond. The round diamond will never go away. Other trends will come. Like right now, we're seeing lots of ovals. Even the marquise making its comeback.
I love the marquise.
It was big for a while, and it faded out. Not too long ago, it was the princess cut everybody wanted. But ovals, rounds have never went anywhere.
Yeah.
They're
That's
just classic.
You're right.
Mhm.
They are. They're every time you see a commercial or something like that, that's what they predominantly show because everybody loves that stone. Okay, can you walk us through the process of how you guys design custom?
We did it from a wax, and we actually melted it in top of an oven and melted the gold and poured it into the wax. It's called a cast. These days, that way limits you to whatever type of waxes you can find. So whenever somebody comes in here with a piece of their own jewelry, usually that piece of jewelry dictates where you can go with it. If it's a lot of different colored different shapes and sizes of stones, then it's not going to fit in just a generic wax. It's going to need to have something custom made from our CAD program, which
So that's
is
something that John actually does. He
Mhm.
gets in there and works
Well,
with AutoCAD?
he works with a computer,
I had
and
no idea.
we actually
Okay.
have 2 different programs, and he can build it. Sometimes he'll start it while the customer's here, just to see if we're right on the right track of what they're wanting.
What they see in their head
Mhm.
and what they can
Yeah.
get on their finger. Okay.
Yes, or in a necklace or whatever. It's usually a good idea if the customer brings in the jewelry they want to use, and they also have some type of idea of what they're wanting to make out of it.
Right.
Because we don't know your style,
Right.
so we need for you to tell us your style, whether that be showing us several different pictures that you found on Pinterest or Facebook or the internet, a piece you saw somewhere else. We've even had a lady take 2 rings that were in the case and blend them because she liked one part of this ring and another part of another ring. And so he sometimes starts the process before the customer's here, while the customer's here. And then after the customer leaves, he finishes up the design. And then we call the customer back in to look at the design.
One more time before
Mhm.
get it
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
set. Okay.
And then what that happens with that is his design is actually cast somewhere else. Now the customer's jewelry never leaves our building.
Okay.
Just their design is casted somewhere else, and then it comes in here. He finishes out. He changes the stones over he sets the stones.
So
into
the ring
place.
stays here,
Mhm.
but the casting of it goes out and
Right.
then it comes back and then he can finish it up.
Absolutely.
What is that how long does that typically take for all of that to
Mm.
happen?
Well, from the time the customer approves the design,
Yes.
it's usually about 4 weeks.
Okay. So really pretty quickly, if they can figure out something that they want to do and have it by Christmas, for example, you could go ahead and come in now, get it done,
Yeah.
and have it back by
A
Christmas.
customer right now would need to be done in the next probably 2 weeks.
Yeah,
to be
because
back
it's
by
going to be
Christmas.
gonna be busy during that season. Okay, which gemstone or metal do you find yourself most inspired by and why?
I'm probably different than most jewelry store owners and wives and everything that
Okay.
I like different. And it may not even be expensive, but it's just what draws me. We now have a unique gemstone case because of that love for different that we carry. The unique stones, not your cookie cutter sapphires, emeralds, rubies. It's got moss agate in it. It's got different colors of jade, different colors of garnet. It just has the different. And they're usually just one pieces. Some we set the stones, some we had already brought in. So one of my favorite stones is the moss agate, which is a natural stone. The imperfections in the stone look like moss.
It does. They
So-
were actually showing it to me earlier, and I was like, so what are those little pieces in there? But it does. It looks like moss. So I know my mother would love that because she loves moss.
Mhm.
So I'm sitting here going, "Oh,
Yeah.
I may have to really
And
look at that
and
one."
it's not an expensive stone at all. We've done some wedding sets as the center stone.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm drawn to the traditional too that I love an opal.
Opals will always
Yeah,
be around
whether
as
they're
well.
the white Australian opals or the Ethiopian opals.
So what's the difference there? Tell us a little bit about that.
The Australian opals have the real white background where
Okay.
the color comes through. The Ethiopian are more iridescent.
That's what I like.
And so you don't see as much white. It's kind of almost opaque and clear, and they really have a pop of color.
Okay.
And they're actually less expensive than the Australian.
Really?
Now, black opal is your expensive one, and it is very pretty.
Y'all have any of those? here?
No, I would like to have one.
Oh, gotcha. I understand that. Okay, so we were talking a little bit earlier because one of the stones up here that you really like is a lab grown stone.
Diamond.
Yeah, diamond. So tell me a little bit about lab grown versus ground grown.
So a lab is just like it sounds. It's grown in a lab by man, and it actually gets its start from the ground grown, like a seed of the ground grown is taken to a lab and it's grown from there.
All right, so we're going to back up because I don't understand. I mean, I know that you're talking to that it's grown,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't really grow,
No,
does it?
it actually
Okay.
starts out as carbon. Any
Okay.
diamond does, whether it comes from the
Yeah, you can
ground
see that.
or it comes from the lab. And then it's with pressure, it's crystallized, and then it gets cut into the stones that you see in jewelry stores.
Okay. All right.
So everything that is done in the ground by nature,
Starts like that and goes to
Mhm.
that.
but everything that's done in the ground is done in a lab.
Okay. So in the lab, does it start off just the same way like that? Or does it start open?
Yeah, I probably more in the crystal form.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I haven't ever been to one of those places, so I can't say
I would
absolutely
like
for
to go.
sure.
I need to get tours on that.
We
That
do,
would be
yes.
really awesome. All right. So basically, it's the same thing except man-made versus, and I'm going to say this, God-made.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
So-
yes. So in that, because man is controlling it and can control all the variables in a lab, see cleaner stones, you see better color. It's just the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity. And so you're seeing the very best clarity and the very best color.
Right. In the lab.
In the lab.
How-
Yes. And you see that in the natural out of the ground, but it's rare. And if
That's
you
why it
do,
makes it
and
so
if you do
expensive.
find it, it's very expensive.
Right.
Yes. Where the ones in the lab are mass produced, so they're not as expensive.
Right.
Because they can be mass produced.
Right. Do it either way.
Mhm.
So I can remember a time where I actually, like I said, one of my husbands, 2 of them, whatever, bought me a lab grown stone and it was beautiful. But when I had it appraised, they instantly knew that it was not
Lab.
God made because it was so perfect.
Well, and they're
And they're like-
supposed to. If you're buying a lab from a reputable company, then a reputable lab supplier, they're supposed to be engraved on the girdle of the inside of the diamond. You can't see with the naked eye. You would have to have magnification, but it's supposed to say LG for lab grown and have a serial number because they're still graded just like the ones out of the ground.
Okay.
They're still
But
graded.
there's a little marking on the inside of the ring.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And that's you called it a girdle? What that's
Yeah,
called?
it's just the way the diamond's cut.
Wow, that is very interesting. That's cool. Okay, so what is the most common mistake you see people make when they're buying jewelry?
It's probably with the lab diamond because you need to be buying your jewelry from someone that you know is honest and reputable, knows what they're talking about. Because when you buy a lab diamond from us, you diamond price and your appraisal on it, everything states
Show
it's a
that.
lab diamond. Verse same way, you buy a mine diamond, it's going to say it's a mine diamond. One out of the
So
ground.
they mark it the
Yes.
same way.
What we do on our appraisal, but we see people all the time that come in here because we repair jewelry from other places. If you buy your jewelry online or at a store or from somebody else or however you got your jewelry, if it wasn't from us, we still will help you with sizing or repair or
Right.
anything. We do repairs for jewelry that we didn't sell. And we see people pay way too much for a lab diamond. They paid almost ground grown diamond prices for a lab diamond
Because somebody was not
because
doing
somebody
their
was not
job.
honest.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. I can see that happening a lot, especially in larger cities, right?
Mhm.
So that's one good thing about having a community and a small business like Right Harps is because you can feel the trust. We know who you are. You're not going to damage that name, right? Because that name means
I
a
got to
lot.
answer to somebody higher.
That's exactly right. And that gives you confidence in you guys to know that, okay, this is what I gave them and this is what I'm getting back,
Absolutely.
and know that it's all yours. So that's really
And
important.
same thing with John doesn't let me buy diamond hoop earrings
Okay.
that are not locking back.
All right.
There's a little lever on the back that you have to push
Yep.
down to open up the hoop versus just pushing it together. Because eventually when you just push it together, it ends up not clicking right and then you lose earrings. So he doesn't let me buy hoops that don't have locking backs. We're careful about rings that we buy that have shared prongs, which that is where one prong is holding down 2 diamonds versus a prong holding each diamond having its own prongs.
Okay.
Because that causes a problem with sizing, wear, depending on if you're rough on your jewelry, you may be constantly losing diamonds, and it's because you've bought a ring with shared prongs.
Right.
John I have had a ring sold out here on the floor and go to ask him a question about it.
And he sees it.
And I'll be like, this size 7 needs to go to a size 4. And he's like, no, it's not going to. And I was like, but I have it sold. And he's like, so we're not selling it and sizing it to a 4. They're going to need to pick something else, or we're going to need to try to find something.
So is there certain times he can't do that? I mean, why wouldn't he change the
ring.
size?
The ring
isn't designed.
Because if the diamonds are coming down the size, you can't take a size 7 and take it to a 4
Gotcha.
without a customer having trouble with that piece
Losing
of
it
jewelry.
or whatever.
Losing diamonds. Yes, it puts too much stress on the ring.
Okay.
So he's always thinking about
What could
how the
happen?
ring is going to be worn, what especially us ladies are going to do
Yeah.
while we're in it, wearing it. And then it's not worth the sale to get a sale if a customer's going to have trouble and be frustrated.
Or
with us.
have a bad thought in their head about you
Absolutely.
guys.
Absolutely. We would rather not sell you the ring than you to be upset with
That's
us over it.
amazing, and that's definitely a great quality for you guys to have. It just adds more trust to the people because, I mean, I've known John forever, getting to know you and, that's really a lot is his family and the
Mhm.
legacy of that, and we don't want to diminish that for sure. Okay, if you had one guilty pleasure gemstone, what would it be? I think we kind of talked about this
Yes.
already.
Ring in the store that's my favorite.
Right.
It's the
Show 'em
lab
that.
diamond ring, which is kind of odd because usually people, and I still prefer ground, but
Yes.
this ring, just the way it's set, the way it sits on the finger,
And you call it
and
a basil?
it's a bezel set.
Bezel.
It's a
Bezel.
5-stone bezel set. It's just under 2 carats of diamonds, and it just wears well. It's comfortable, and it looks good on just about every hand that tries it on. So I'll probably sell it because I usually sell my favorites, and I never
Well, because you're passionate. When you find something passionate that you really love it, that
I show it.
excitement. Exactly. You
Yeah.
show it, that engagement and everything, which is
Mhm.
cool. Okay, what piece of jewelry would you grab if you only had 10 seconds to run out the door?
I'm grabbing the 5-stone lab bezel set ring.
Okay, if we asked John the same question, and what did he ask for?
He said he would grab our white gold 1 carat,
Which is here, and I'm going to bring these around in
our
just a second.
1 carat ground diamond.
So we've really enjoyed talking with you guys today. Is there anything else that you guys, I know that you've got the wall clocks there and you've got all kinds of things. Tell us some things that you do have in the store here, just besides the ring and watch.
I think a lot of people think that all we have is expensive jewelry, and we don't. We carry our Anna Hay line is a fashion line that's 14 karat gold over sterling and sterling silver set with CZs and some pearls and natural stones, and it ranges from $39 to a little over $100.
Okay.
We have our Earth Grace line that we've had for a long time, which is an artisan jewelry where it's handmade in New Albany, Mississippi, and it ranges from the mid 50s on up to just a couple $100. We carry some sterling and CZ jewelry. We try to have jewelry of all different amounts for the customer because not everybody can come in and spend thousands of dollars.
Right.
Really, most of our sales are
I couldn't.
the $100 sales.
Right.
But a whole lot of $100 sales add up.
That's exactly right. Well, and the thing about it is, because a lot of times when they look into a jewelry store, they look so beautiful. First of all, I love walking into jewelry stores because everything looks amazing under these lights and everything. So it's really good to know that they do have prices out there. Like you said, from $39 to $100, you can get something really special for someone that you care about. And it doesn't have to be worth thousands of dollars to make that impact on somebody's life.
No.
So that's really cool.
And sometimes that's the sweetest ones is that somebody who's coming in here buy a gift and they have somebody in mind and they put a lot of thought into it and they're wanting to find something special. It doesn't matter to us if it's $20 or if it's $20,000. Same thing with when you drop off your repairs here. It can be a piece of fashion jewelry or it can be the most expensive diamond, that there is.
Right.
We treat them all the same. I mean, because if it's sentimental to somebody, you can't replace that.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it's a fashion piece or a really expensive piece. It doesn't matter. If it's sentimental, it's irreplaceable.
Now, you had on your Facebook page, they do have a Facebook page, guys, and you were talking about the ring that somebody had come in the store. Do you have a lot of those stories like that that people come in?
We do. One of my favorites is probably a lady who she lost her husband, and she had worn her wedding ring for several years, and she was ready to take it off. She still wanted to keep it close to her heart because he was her love and he went on to be with the good Lord. And so she couldn't control that. And now she was still young. And so we turned her wedding ring into a pendant that she wears, I think, every day. And so he's close to her heart, but he's not necessarily on her finger.
That's beautiful.
And then the piece you were talking about, customer inherited a ring that had actually went through several stages of being a ring and then being a tie tack and then back to a ring. And then it had seen better days.
Yeah, it was
It had
damaged.
lost a stone.
Yeah.
the setting was bent. And so versus trying to repair the original, he just used the CAD program and the dimensions of the original to build a new piece.
Wow. Well, it turned out beautifully. But one thing I want to mention, because I've worked with AutoCAD before, and I had never thought about doing jewelry with AutoCAD. It's always been mechanical or designing that. I would have never thought about jewelry being on AutoCAD.
I've tried. I can tell him what I don't like, but I can't move that mouse and make all those pieces go where they're supposed to go. And he just like,
Now, did John go to school for this, or did he learn
He actually did.
everything? Okay, I didn't know if
He
he
did.
just learned from his dad or.
the programs that we have, there's training for them, and he went to where they were and he trained how to use them.
Now, you guys have girls. One girl? Two girls?
One.
So is she going to be into the family, you think, one day? Or
I don't know. Both my kids are educators and they love it.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Can't say that things won't change, but
Never know about the future, right? Never know about.
We hope it won't end with 3 generations, but we'll see. We let our kids make their own choices.
Sure.
In our profession, we told them that they didn't have to make a lot of money, just love what they do.
Be passionate.
And
about
both of our kids are very passionate about what they do.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up today. Thanks again, Tammy, for letting us come into the store. I'm going to take some videos and some pictures and show you what's next.
So that's the ground grown round diamond. John had to take a piece from the store. If that was the only piece he could take, that's what he would take.
That is a beautiful one. I love that.
Go.
And you were talking about the round. So this is the
very
round.
Classic, very traditional.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, let's look at this next one here. This is, I think, Tammy's favorite.
That is. That's the 5-stone oval bezel set.
5 stones over there. You couldn't see it, so there's 5.
It's a little under 2 carats of lab diamonds.
And that is beautiful. I have to agree with Tammy. That's really pretty. Anybody want to buy that from me, you can just come on down. We'll take care of it. Now, this is one that you were talking about that had the moss effect in it.
That's right. That's the moss agate. So it shows the imperfections in the stone actually look like moss. It can come in a little darker shades of kind of a foresty green color, but I like the one that's more iridescent where you can actually see the moss.
Yeah, you guys need to come in and actually see this because it doesn't show up near as pretty as it does. Okay, so what is this?
That's a loose diamond. That's a loose lab diamond. So most of the lab diamonds that we're seeing and that we buy are like your very best clarity, BBS stones, EF color, and they're very reasonable. In our generation that's getting married right now, that's what
they're
want.
looking. Yeah,
they're buying 2 and 3 carats of lab diamonds and then setting them up very traditionally. We're not seeing a lot of frill.
Right. And sometimes jewelry, that's all you need is just that very basic so that you want the stone to show up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you later. Bye.